Hello everyone, this is Raju, Assistant Professor of Chemistry, Freshman Engineering Department, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering College, Dundigal, Hyderabad. Today our topic is types of corrosion. In the types of corrosion, mainly we are discuss about the number 1, galvanic corrosion, concentration cell corrosion, pitting corrosion, water lane corrosion, caustic embeddlement corrosion, soil corrosion, stress corrosion, and intergranular corrosion. These all are the types of corrosion. Let us discuss one by one. So first one is the galvanic corrosion. So in the galvanic corrosion, this galvanic corrosion also called as bimetallic corrosion. Galvanic corrosion also called as bimetallic corrosion. In the galvanic corrosion, let us, when we are taking the dissimilar metals like zinc and copper, zinc and copper we are taking. So zinc having the standard reduction potential value is minus 0.76 volts and copper is the plus 0.34 volts. The two dissimilar metals, that means bimetallic, this is also called as bimetallic corrosion. Two dissimilar metals are the copper and zinc. Zinc having the reduction potential value is minus 0.76 and copper is the plus 0.34. So in this, zinc having the lesser standard reduction potential value, so this acts as an anode and undergoes oxidation, and copper acts as a cathode and undergoes reduction. So when we are comparing between the zinc and copper, zinc having the lesser standard reduction potential value and copper having the higher standard reduction potential value. So that's why the zinc acts as an anode, undergo oxidation. In the electrochemical series, the metal which having the higher standard reduction potential value acts as an anode, undergoes reduction, then the rate of corrosion is minimized. The metal which having the lesser standard reduction potential value and that acts as anode, undergo oxidation, then the metal undergoes corrosion. When we are comparing between the comparing of this diagram, when we are seeing this diagram, this is the brass and this is a mild steel. When we are comparing brass screw and mild steel, so this having the lesser standard reduction potential value. So that's why what we are observed. So here this will undergo oxidation and this will act as a cathode and undergoes reduction. Then the rate of corrosion is minimized in the brass screw. And mild steel, we are observing the corrosion. So this part acts as an anode and brass screw part acts as a cathode. When two dissimilar metals are electrically connected and exposed to an electrolyte, the metal higher in electrochemical series, that means lower reduction potential value, undergoes corrosion. And the metal lower in electrochemical series, higher reduction potential value is protected. This type of corrosion is called as galvanic corrosion. When two dissimilar metals like zinc and copper, so zinc is the lower reduction potential value and higher in electrochemical series, then acts as an anode, undergoes oxidation. And copper, this having the higher reduction potential value and lower in electrochemical series, and this metal protected from corrosion. Why? Because it acts as a cathode and undergo reduction. When zinc and copper are connected and exposed to corroding environment, zinc higher in electrochemical series forms anode, undergoes oxidation and gets corroded. So according to electrochemical series, the metal zinc is the higher in electrochemical series. So that's why this having the lower reduction potential value acts as an anode, undergoes oxidation. Copper is the lower in electrochemical series and it having the higher standard reduction potential value. So that's why it acts as a cathode, undergo reduction. This can be protected from corrosion. So let us see the galvanic corrosion reactions. So zinc form as a Zn plus 2 plus 2 electrons. And copper is in the form of copper plus 2 plus 2 electrons form as a copper solid. So what we are observing here, this is the oxidation and this is the reduction. So which metal undergoes oxidation? That metal undergoes corrosion. And remaining metal, copper is then undergo reduction, that metal will be protected. Why? Because the electrons are transferred to zinc to copper. Then the energy of the zinc is decreases. Then oxidation takes place, losing of electron takes place, undergoes corrosion. So this galvanic corrosion, mainly we are minimized in between copper and zinc. In between copper and zinc, we are inserted the insulator. In copper and zinc, we are inserted the insulator. Then we are minimize the rate of corrosion. In between the copper and zinc, we are inserted the insulator like wood, paper, glass, like metal we are inserted. Then the galvanic corrosion can be minimized. Or we are avoiding the coupling. Next point is when we are minimize the rate of galvanic corrosion, to avoid the couples, to avoid the zinc and copper couple, then we are minimize the galvanic corrosion. Next one is the concentration cell corrosion, and this also called as differential aeration corrosion. This type of corrosion occurs due to the electrochemical attack of the metal surface exposed to electrolytes of the varying concentration and varying aeration. So this type of concentration cell corrosion mainly occurs at the wet corrosion, wet condition. That means electrochemical attack of the metal surface exposed to electrolyte of the varying concentration or varying aeration. So in this concentration cell, this type of corrosion is due to difference in concentration of metal ions. So this concentration cell corrosion is mainly due to difference in the concentration of the metal ions and difference in exposed to air oxygen. That means difference in the exposed to air or oxygen. That means a differential aeration corrosion. The oxygen differential aeration takes place, then we are observe the concentration cell corrosion. And this concentration cell corrosion mainly we are observed. Mainly we are observed in the difference in temperature. Also we are observed the concentration cell corrosion. So in the concentration cell corrosion, let us see the diagram. So this is the container, beaker. So in this is the electrolyte solution. In this, we are immersed the electrode. So this is the zinc rod. This is the zinc rod. And this is the NaCl solution and containing the ZnCl2 solution. When a metal rod is immersed, partially immersed in the electrolyte solution. So here up to this part, this is the surface area. And here this is the more water content is present. That means this part is a less oxygen area, less O2 is present. And poor oxygenate area. Below the water line, below the electrolyte area, that is the less oxygen or poor oxygen is present. Above the water or electrolyte solution or water, so this part is the more O2. More O2. So here, less oxygen acts as an anode. Where the less oxygenated part is there, that part acts as an anode, and more oxygenated part acts as a cathode. Now, which part acts as a cathode? Less oxygen. That means when the electrode is immersed in the electrolyte solution, now this part only undergoes corrosion. Why? Because that part undergo oxidation, losing of electron takes place, more corrosion takes place at less oxygen area and immersed in the electrolyte solution. In this case, the metal rod is partially immersed in the electrolyte solution. Half part is exposed to air and half part is poor oxygenated area, that means immersed in the electrolyte solution. Where the less oxygen area is there, that part acts as a anode. More oxygen area acts as a cathode. Then reduction takes place, that form as a OH minus. That form as a OH minus. At cathode, that gives the iron, not iron, zinc. Zn form as a Zn plus 2. Plus 2 electrons. This Zn plus 2 and OH minus, Zn plus 2 plus OH minus, that form as a Zn OH taken twice is the precipitation. That is the corrosion. So in the concentration cell corrosion, Differential aeration corrosion is the most common type of concentration cell corrosion. When a metal is exposed to different air concentration, it has been found to be poorly oxygenated area of the metal becomes anodic and well oxygenated part becomes cathodic. Previously we observed the diagram. In the diagram, what the metal is immersed in the electrolyte solution. The where the metal is immersed, that part is the poor oxygen area. That part acts as a anode, and where the remaining part is exposed to air, so that part acts as a cathode, undergo reduction, and anodic part we are observing the corrosion. The potential difference is created with which causes the flow of electrons from anode, that is metallic part immersed in NaCl solution, to cathode exposed to atmosphere. The electrons are transferred from lesser oxygenated part to higher oxygenated part. Then losing of electron takes place. Where the less oxygen part is there, that part acts as anode, undergoes corrosion. Zinc rod immersed deep in NaCl solution, that part acts as an anode. Zinc rod above NaCl solution, that part acts as a cathode. So in that, zinc form as Zn plus 2 electrons. Losing of electron takes place. Why? Because we are immersed in the NaCl solution. Losing of electron takes place. That form as a Zn plus 2. At cathode, oxygen, that means more oxygen is present now. Oxygen is reaction with the water molecule H2O. That O2 is reaction with H2O plus gaining of 2 electron, that form as a 2OH minus. This 2OH minus and Zn plus 2 form as a ZnOH2 is the precipitation, rusting formation takes place. At the corrosion occurs at cathode. This is about the concentration cell corrosion. Next one, that is the pitting corrosion. So when pitting corrosion means on the surface of the metal, the any pit means a pin hole or a small hole. When on the surface of the metal any small hole or pit hole formed, then due to the environmental condition that exposed to overall the metal completely undergoes corrosion. So in the pitting corrosion, when a water drop is resting takes place on the surface of the metal, suppose this is the pit. This is the pit or pinhole. So this is the water drop. When water drop is resting in the pit, pinhole. When water drop is resting takes place, what happens? That water completely here resting takes place. When resting takes place, if some times goes on, then this spreads to overall the metal. Overall the metal undergoes corrosion. Now, in the pitting corrosion is due to attack of the surface of the metal. There is a formation of a local galvanic cell. That means pinholes, pit or cavities in the metals. Pitting is usually the result of the breakdown or cracking of the protective film on the metal at the specific points. This gives the rise to the formation of small anodic and large cathodic areas in the corrosive environment. This produces the corrosion current. So when water drop is resting takes place here, so this part acts as an anode, remaining part acts as a cathode. When anodic part having the less oxygen area, then oxygen takes place, and remaining is the more oxygen area, acts as a cathode. We are observing the corrosion where the pit or pinholes are there, that part acts as a anode. We are observing the corrosion that place only. So in the pitting corrosion, this is the pitting corrosion diagram. Let us see, this is the metal surface, and here this is the pit or pinhole. This is a water drop resting takes place. Here we are observing Fe form as a Fe plus 2 plus 2 electrons. Fe plus 2 plus 2 electrons. So this is the less oxygen area, less oxygen, less O2, and this part more O2. Less oxygen part is there, less oxygen part acts as a anode. More oxygen area acts as a cathode. In that, the water drop is resting takes place. Iron form as a Fe plus 2 electrons, and oxygen of O2 is reaction with H2O plus gaining of 2 electrons, that form as a 2OH minus. So this Fe plus 2 plus OH minus that form as a FeOH taken twice. So further oxidation that form as a FeOH taken thrice. So this is the reddish brown color precipitation, rusting of iron takes place in the pitting corrosion. Pitting corrosion, one more diagram. Let us see, this is the pitting corrosion diagram. So this is a metal surface and here small pin or pit hole formation takes place on the surface of the metal. So this is the metal. Here water drop is resting takes place, water drop. So this is the pit, water drop is resting. So this part is the less O2 and this part is more O2. Acts as a cathode. This part acts as a anode. So in the pitting corrosion, we are observing this part only undergoes corrosion. Fe form as a Fe plus 2 electrons. So in the pitting corrosion at anode, Fe form as a Fe plus 2 electrons. At cathode, oxygen is reaction with H2O plus gaining of 2 electrons that form as a 2OH minus, that is a reduction. The overall reaction is Fe plus 2OH minus that form as a FeOH taken twice, that is a precipitation. So this FeOH, if oxygen is in excess, ferrous hydroxide is easily oxidized to ferric hydroxide, that is FeOH taken thrice. FeOH taken twice is a reaction with oxygen and more amount of water or more amount of oxygen that form as a ferric hydroxide formation takes place. The product is called yellow rust corrodes to Fe2O3 3H2O. That is the rusting of iron formula. Next one, that is the waterline corrosion. So this waterline corrosion, also known as a differential oxygen concentration corrosion, it has observed in the case of iron tank containing water that the portion of iron tank just below the water level undergoes corrosion. It is due to the difference in oxygen concentration. Let us see this diagram. So this is the water tank. In the water tank, this is the water surface. Water. Just below the water line, we are observing the corrosion. That is called as the waterline corrosion. Just below the water line, this is the water line. Just below the water line, we are observing the corrosion. So that is called as waterline corrosion. So in the waterline corrosion, below the water line, this is the less O2 and this part is more O2. Less O2 acts as an anode and more O2 acts as a cathode. Where corrosion takes place here? Which part acts as an anode, which part undergo oxidation, that part only undergoes corrosion. That means the less oxygen part, where the less oxygen part is there, that part acts as an anode, then corrosion takes place more compared to the more oxygen. So the area above the waterline, highly oxygenated area, acts as a cathodic part and is not affected by the corrosion. However, if the water is relatively free from acidity, little corrosion occurs. This type of corrosion is prevented to a great extent of painting the sides of the ships by antifouling paints. So this can be, waterline corrosion can be mainly, we are minimized by painting. By painting, we are minimized the waterline corrosion. So let us see the waterline corrosion diagram. So this is the water tank. Here this is the surface. So this is the water. Just below the waterline surface, we are observing the corrosion. So this part is the less oxygen and this part is the more O2. This part is the less O2. Where the less O2 is present, that part acts as a anode and more O2 acts as a cathode. Here, this part acts as a anode and leads to corrosion. That means Fe form as a at anode, Fe plus 2 electrons. In the acidic media, that is 4H plus O2 plus gaining of 4 electrons that form as a 2H2O. This 2H2O, again this is in the form of H++. OH minus. This Fe plus 2 is reaction with OH minus that form as a FeOH taken twice. So further oxidation that form as a FeOH taken thrice. This is the rusting of iron formed in the waterline corrosion. And this is here, let us see once again, you see the diagram. This is the water tank. So this part is there now, this part is the poor oxygen area and this part is the high oxygen cathodic area. That part is protected from corrosion. Where the poor oxygen is there, that part acts as a anode. Corrosion takes place just below the waterline surface. That is called as the waterline corrosion. At anode, Fe form as Fe plus 2 plus 2 electrons. At cathode, H plus plus half O2 gaining of 2 electrons that form as H2O. That H2O is in the form of H plus plus OH minus. This OH minus is reaction with Fe plus 2 that form as FeOH taken twice. If oxygen is in excess, the ferrous hydroxide is reaction with oxygen content, then form as a ferric hydroxide, FeOH taken thrice. This product is called as yellow rust corroded, that is a Fe2O3 3H2O. That is the rusting of iron formation takes place. That is a reddish brown color precipitation formed in the just below the waterline surface. So this is called as waterline surface. Next type of corrosion, that is soil corrosion. In the soil corrosion, the soil contains the bacteria, microbial organisms, etc. and all that soil conductants that will be effect on corrosion. So this soil contains clay and sand. Clay contains the less O2. Sand contains the more O2. According to our principle, where the less oxygen is present, that part acts as a anode. Why? Because the clay contains the moisture, water content. Sand contains the sand having the more oxygen. So this part acts as a cathode. This part acts as a cathode. Now, where the clay is there, when we have buried the PB pipes, where the clay part is there, PB pipe. Here, suppose this is the clay. This is the sand. Now, clay contains the more amount of moisture and less oxygen. This part acts as a anode. This part acts as a anode. This part acts as a cathode. Then, where the corrosion takes place? At anodic part undergo oxidation. Then, the corrosion takes place where the clay part is present. Clay is present surrounding the PB pipe. That part only undergoes corrosion. In the soil corrosion, soil contains the clay and sand. Clay contains the less amount of oxygen and acts as an anode, undergo oxidation. Sand contains the more oxygen, acts as a cathode, and that part acts as a undergoes reduction. When we are buried the PB pipe, then the surrounding the PB pipe, clay and sand is present. The clay part, where the clay part is there, that part acts as a anode, undergo oxidation, leads to corrosion. And where the sand is there, that part acts as a cathode, that corrosion is minimized. Now, next one is the caustic embrittlement corrosion. So, this caustic embrittlement corrosion mainly we are observed in the boiler feed water. To the boiler feed water, we are adding the Na2CO3, lime. We are adding the lime. When lime is reaction with the water, that form as a caustic, that means alkali, that is NaOH plus CO2. Na2CO3 is reaction with the water molecule, form as a NaOH plus CO2. This NaOH is called as caustic. When NaOH is forms in the boiler feed water, so that part acts as an anode. That suppose here NaOH is present. So this part acts as an anode. Here we are observing the small hair cracks. Small hair cracks we are observed are pits forms. That area undergoes corrosion. In the boiler feed water contains a certain amount of Na2CO3 which decomposes to NaOH under the high pressure of the boilers. Under the high pressure range boilers, the lime, Na2CO3, soda is added to the water that form as a NaOH. this NaOH is precipitation formed that is present in the boilers where the NaOH is formed, that part we are observing the small air cracks or pinholes formation takes place. That part acts as an anode, undergoes corrosion. NaOH gets deposited in the cracks pits of the boilers plate, creating a concentration cell. The metal deposited with NaOH becomes anodic, while the metal surrounded drop becomes cathode. That means here you see the diagram. In this, here this part NaOH is present. This part acts as an anode, remaining part acts as a cathode. This part only undergoes oxidation, leads to corrosion. Cracks or pits formation takes place. Now next one is the stress corrosion. In the stress corrosion, the metals, when the metals having the stress, strain or more pressure we are applied, that part acts as an anode. That means, suppose this is the metal. This is the metal. To the metal, I am giving the more stress. This part is called as stress. Here, this is called as stress. This is the metal. When to the metal, I am giving the stress. When we are giving the stress here, we are observing the small cracks. When we are observing the small cracks. So this part acts as an anode and remaining part acts as a cathode. Then corrosion we are observed at the anodic part only. So stress corrosion is due to the combined effect of the static tensile stresses of the corrosive environment of the metal. The tensile stress is usually observed in fabricated articles like alloys of zinc and nickel. Here you see, we are observing the stress here. Tensile strength we are applied. Then this part only acts as an anode, undergoes corrosion. So this is the diagram of the stress corrosion. You see here this part, this is the metal. Here we are we are giving the stress, strained part, anodic part, and remaining is the cathodic part. We are observing this part acts as an anode and this part only undergoes oxidation. This part acts as a cathode. Then the rate of corrosion is minimized at the cathode, and here we are observing the corrosion. Next one is the intergranular corrosion. So this corrosion occurs along with the grain boundaries. This intergranular corrosion we are observed occurs along the grain boundaries. So these grain boundaries where the metal is sensitive undergoes a corrosive attack. The grain boundary contains a material which shows more anodic part. Suppose you see grain boundary. So this is the grain boundary. This part is a grain boundary. This part acts as an anode, and this is a center point. This part acts as a cathode. Why? Because the grain boundary line is there, surface that is the sensitive, very sensitive. The grain boundary where the metal is sensitive undergo corrosive attack. The grain boundary contains a material which shows more anodic potential. That means the grain boundary is then this is the more anodic part. This part only undergoes corrosion. The metal at high grain boundary decay as it becomes anodic, and center of the grain becomes a cathodic, which is protected. So this is the surrounding grain boundary, and this part is the center of the grain. So this part acts as a cathode. So this part protected from corrosion. Where the grain boundary is there, this we're drawing this one, dark line is there. So this is the grain boundary. That part acts as a anode, undergoes corrosion, and center point that is acts as a cathode protected from corrosion. This is a figure of intergranular corrosion. So you see, this is the grain boundary. So this is the grain center, and this is the grain boundary. These are the grain boundaries. Now this grain boundary acts as an anode and undergoes oxidation, and grain center is then this is the cathode, and undergoes reduction, and this part protected from corrosion. This part is a very sensitive, so that what you observed acts as an anode. Losing of electron takes place, undergo oxidation, leads to corrosion. So this is the intergranular corrosion. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.